Hey, Matt.
Dude, what are you? We wrapped like 3 hours ago. Where have you been?
Yeah. Just a quick question. Can you, do you have any tips for printing black on black?
Printing black on black. Yeah, that's actually a really fun one. So, problem with black on black is it's two tonal, so you can't really see it. So, what I like to do is either use a matte additive to really make it have no sheen, so it stands out a little bit different, or oftentimes with the exact opposite, go with a heavy gloss. Might even think about just doing a clear coat on black itself. That'll be a heavy gloss area. You can also just take a dark gray and tint it a little bit darker, so it's a little bit tonal of a difference, and then that gloss on top. But whenever you're changing the end matte characteristics, it'll help it pop even from the same color.
Is Underbase white the same as regular white?
It can be, depends on what you're using. So there's different whites have different properties for different reasons. A lot of shops, mine included in a manual shop here, will use the same white ink for the underbase as the top white. Usually would still recommend to change that mesh count. I'll go with a lower mesh count for the underbase and then a higher mesh count for the top white, so I'm not building up too much of a stack and making it too thick. Some shops use different whites, different characteristics of the whites, but yep, they can be. It really depends on what you're trying to do.
Can you add translucent ink on top of other colors for the purpose of shading?
Yeah, for the purpose of shading or for color mixing. So a lot of fun things I've done with especially white shirts, dealing with cyan, magenta, yellow, black, so CMYK prints, is I like to do the overlays, but you can absolutely just do a kind of like tonal ink we made in the video a couple weeks back. You can do that and then print right over things. It'll actually make it darker where it's printed over. Works for shadowing, adding depth, additional hues of colors, so absolutely does work, yep.
Do you always have to underbase puff ink?
Ooh, do you always have to underbase puff ink? You do not always, and sometimes it works better if you don't. My experience, though, is that you should lay down a good solid underbase, and that way when the puff actually aerates, because there's going to be blowing agents inside that puff, that's what actually makes it stick up. By having a good underbase underneath it, you're going to make sure that when the blowing agent actually hits heat, it puffs up where the puff has to show. So I do recommend it. However, I've seen it work plenty of times where they don't do that and they just do a double hit of the puff too. I personally do like to use underbase, yes.
Can you use low bleed, low cure on cotton?
You sure can. You can use any ink on any kind of substrate. How well it's going to perform or what the cost is might be different. So the matting characteristics of a low bleed, low cure might be different than a cotton white. Usually more expensive too. So it might not hold on the fibers as much as you'd like because if it's going on a polyester, it's not going to deal with any kind of fibrillation. So it might not have as much of a matting characteristic when it comes to holding those fibers down. There might be some things you don't love about it. It's also more expensive of an ink than a cotton white. So in a perfect world, use the right ink for the right process. But if you're in a pinch, yeah, go for it.
What happens if you get a weave pattern in your print?
All right. So the weave pattern might see kind of like some angles or kind of like a fence looking type thing. That's usually going to be based off of a moire pattern. So it could be that you have angles that are not working together well between different screens. If you're dealing with a low resolution image, not like a high detail image or high mesh count, and you're on a lower mesh count and you're seeing that, then it's more than likely that you've got either low tension or you've got you're off contact. You're just sitting on top of the actual ink and you're peeling off and you're actually seeing the screen itself. Oftentimes, again, usually from low tension. So it's either going to be competing angles in your output, LPI, or it's going to be low tension on your mesh in most cases.
Where'd you get this cool can holder on the side of your dryer?
So that's actually from a company called T&J. I used to work for them years back. However, you can get that at most hardware stores. It's got some magnets in the back of it. It's good for spray cans. I've seen them in a lot of garages. You can put some soda or a beer in there. You can get those usually for under 20 bucks. You can spray paint them, add some decals. That's all that happened there is we did digital print over the top of them. I actually want to say that those are from Harbor Freight. So you can feel free to find those anywhere on the internet. They're super helpful. Just put your spray can there. Like I said, a beverage or something, nice and easy.
How do you spot clean a whole shirt?
So we talk about spot cleaning, but sometimes you might have a whole shirt where the whole thing's, you made a misprint. Actually a really easy fix. All you have to do is you take it, and I like to take it and kind of like just crumple it up, and then you just squeeze really hard and you throw it away. Real easy fix there.
Last question. What should people do after watching this video?
They should like and subscribe for more just like this and leave some comments below to let us know what other questions you folks want answered in the future.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, get out of here.